25-minute, no equipment needed, full body Pilates burn. It will be full body, but we'll focus more on deep core activation, sculpted glutes, and strong toned shoulders using slow, controlled, functional movements. We'll move slow and with control so that we are building strength and feeling the burn in the right muscles, but we will also get our heart rate up a few times. No equipment needed. Grab your mat, wear something comfortable, and let's get started. Starting today, feet hip-width distance apart. We're going to reach the arms up to the sky. Nice big stretch. Come down into a squat. Extend one leg out to the side and then the other leg. And we come back up to standing, reaching the hands up overhead. Again, we come down into a squat. Extend one leg straight out, other leg straight out, and then standing, reaching arms up overhead. As we extend the legs out to the side, the goal is to keep the pelvis really still in space. So using our core here, obliques to control the spine, keeping the spine and the torso still. Extending one leg out, squeezing that quad, just tapping the floor. And again, opening through the chest as we reach up and overhead. Again, as we come down into that squat, we focus on staying nice and low, deep in the squat, pelvis and spine really still as the legs go out to the side. And when we reach up overhead, getting a nice big stretch, opening through the chest, shoulder blades together as we reach. And again, nice and low, hip stability as we extend the legs out. Awesome work. That is our mobility warm up. And then we're going to come down nice and low into a squat hold. Getting really deep into that squat. And we're holding here for 60 seconds. Of course, we love squats. We know we love squats for building glutes and quads, but holding a squat has a lot of extra benefits. So we're decompressing through the lumbar spine as we sit down nice and low and hold. This is also great for digestion too, as it lengthens the organs in our digestive tract and helps to massage the intestines as well. And I probably don't have to tell you that we're building lots of endurance through the quads, glutes, building that strength through the low body. Again, can we stay nice and low so that we can work to improve our ankle, knee, and hip mobility as well? So nice and low in that squat, coming to 90 degrees at the knees. Make sure you're not hunching forward. Keep the back flat, shoulders back in space. Last 10 seconds here. Hey. Wake it up. Feel that energy. From here, we're going to reach the arms up overhead and go into little pulses through the knees, getting nice and low in that squat. And can we reach the arms up nice and high so the biceps are around the ears? Working through our back extensor muscles here too, and muscles between the shoulder blades to reach up nice and high. Getting nice and low into that squat. Back of the neck stays long, back stays flat. We're halfway there. Really root down into the heels here. Can we lift the toes slightly or just put more weight into the heels to get more through the posterior chain of the leg, hamstrings, glutes? We're almost there. 20 more seconds, warming up through the body, feeling the blood flow. We're getting warm. We're almost there. Last 10 seconds. You've got this. Woo, awesome work. We're going to continue with our warm-up today with our standing oblique crunches. So we'll reach the arms up to the sky. Again, feet hip-width distance apart. We're going to crunch knee to elbow, shortening through the side of the body. I want you to think lateral flexion here or side bend. Bringing your ribs to your hips as we crunch using those obliques. And then inhale to lengthen all the way back out. Exhale to crunch, inhale to open. So again, the main focus here is that shortening through the side body, ribs to hips. Waking up through the obliques. And as we inhale, we reach the arms up and back. So make sure we're getting also lots of length through the body in between each rep. And can we find that stability as we come out of the crunch as well? So this exercise is also great for improving balance and stability through the body as we're coming in and out of each of the reps. Last 10 seconds. Awesome work. From here, we're gonna fire up through the shoulders. So coming onto your knees. You can also do this seated, but being on the knees is optimal for core engagement and control. Bringing the wrist up to shoulder height, we're gonna do tiny little circles through the shoulders forward for 60 seconds. So we're gonna do 60 seconds in each direction. Okay, and again, tiny little circles, keeping the wrist up in space, keeping control. And I want you to focus on the movement through the shoulder blades, through the scapula as you bring the hands back in space. And again, on our knees here, we can keep the core strong, keeping the tailbone tucked under. So even slight glute engagement, but making sure that tailbone tuck is really initiating from the core as we draw the ribs down and in and stay really stable through the torso, through the mid-body. 20 more seconds in this direction. And let's go right into the other direction here. Again, focus on that movement through the shoulder blades. So bringing those pinkies back in space to draw the shoulder blades together while we stay really strong through the core. So no movement through the mid-body. Core stays on, pelvis stays tucked under as the weight of the arms moves back in space. Halfway there, we are feeling the burn through the shoulders. Can we keep the shoulders away from the ears so we keep this in the shoulders and not in the upper traps? Last 20 seconds. Again, keeping the circles small but still very controlled, keeping the pace consistent. Last 10 seconds, almost there. Awesome work. From here, we're going to extend the left leg straight out on the mat. If you can, bring the surface of the foot down on the mat so we get a bit of ankle mobility here too. And then we're going to reach the hands up to the sky, bringing the biceps around the ears. We're going to go into a side flexion first and then exhale to rotate the spine to the floor. Come out of your rotation and then restack. So it's a bit of a modified mermaid flow here and really separating those movements. So lateral flexion, side bend, then rotate, come out of the rotation and then restack. As we twist, keeping the biceps around the ears, arms back in space, and really using those obliques to twist, making sure that movement is coming right from the waist, not just turning downward with the head and the arms, initiating the movement right from the waist. Again, we exhale to twist. The exhale is really going to help you here to get deeper in that rotation. And then inhale to come out of the rotation and restack. Exhale, we side flex and twist. Inhale out of the rotation, restack. That left leg is staying nice and long. We might need to engage through the quad a little bit to keep control. Last 10 seconds. Awesome work. And we're going to change up to the other side. So bringing your left knee back underneath the hip. We extend the right leg long again. Can we bring the bottom surface of the foot down on the floor? And then same thing, biceps come around the ears. We exhale to laterally flex and twist. And we inhale to come out of the rotation and restack, crown of the head to the ceiling. We're also going to get a little bit of hip mobility here as well. And keeping that bottom surface of the foot down will help with that hip mobility too and strengthening through the hip flexors. Even though sometimes we have tight hip flexors, it doesn't mean that they're strong. Strengthening the muscles around the hips is just as important as opening the hips. We need to have that balance. We're halfway through here. Again, side flexion, exhale, twist, and inhale to come back up. Can we get a little deeper in the twist here? Again, initiating right from the center of the body. Keeping the arms back in space so that we're not flexing forward. Awesome work, everyone. We're going to come into our next block of class lying on our backs in our supine position. Start first by lying down with your shoulder blades flush onto the mat. So pinning those shoulders down, opening up wide through the chest, finding a slight tuck in the tailbone, drawing the ribs in, and then extending the legs long to the sky, pointing the toes, squeezing the quads. We're going to go into our scissor kick here, lowering one leg to the floor and then switching the other leg to the floor. Exhale when we're in our final position, and inhale to switch. As we exhale, we draw the ribs down and in, and I want you to think engaging through that transversus abdominis, so that corset tightening, drawing navel to spine so that we're not bulging through the front of the body. We zip up and in. Imagine almost like you're trying to shrink wrap your organs, so really tightening around the body, and again, drawing navel to spine here. Exhale in the L shape, inhale to switch. Can we keep the shoulders pinned down and not gripping the mat? So either having your palms turned in or just gently touching the mat, but not gripping. Last 10 seconds here. Awesome work. And then from here, we're going to bring the hands behind the head, elbows wide, bring chin to chest, ribs to hips to shorten through the front body. And then let's go back into those scissor kicks. So again, I want you to think gaze at the tops of the thighs. So we keep flexion through the neck and shortening through the front of the body, ribs to hips. As the weight of the legs moves around, again, we're thinking transversus connection. So drawing navel to spine, wrapping through the torso. And can we keep those legs nice and long? The lengthening of the legs is for the quad engagement and control, to be able to control that movement, make it flow and elegant, but also so that we lengthen the lever, putting a little bit more work on the abs. Last 20 seconds here. Can we keep the toes pointed, keep the quads engaged? And weight of the head comes into the hands, elbows stay wide, think shoulder blades together behind you. We're almost there. Awesome work. From here, we're going to come to our tabletop position, knee stack over hip, shins parallel with the floor, and then place your hands on the tops of the thighs. This is an isometric or static hold ab exercise. So pressing into the thighs actively as the thighs resist that pressure. This is deep core TVA engagement, but you're going to get out of this what you put into this. So I want you to put lots of strength, lots of pressure into the thighs, resist that pressure from the thighs so that there's no movement in the body, but really, really, really press hard into the thighs. I know it doesn't look like much because we're not moving, but there's a ton of work going on. You might feel that little shudder through the front of the body, but again, deep core. So think navel to spine, drawing up and in, think corset or zipping up that tight pair of pants as we press hard into the thighs. Last 20 seconds here. Give it all you've got. Zipping up and in, press, press, press hard. You should feel your triceps a little bit here as you press in. Last 10 seconds. Woo. We can bring the feet down. We're going to come into our shoulder bridge block. So bringing your shoulders heavy behind you again, palms facing the floor. Heels are going to go directly underneath the knees. And then on your exhale, we're going to lift the hips up nice and high in our shoulder bridge. Tucking the tailbone under, squeezing the glutes. And then using your core to stabilize the hips. We're going to bring the left leg up to tabletop. Tap the floor first with a pointed toe. Bring it back up. Flex the foot and tap the floor with the heel. So each time you lift, we're switching that ankle position. Lift, point, tap. Lift, flex, tap. Lift, point, tap. lift, flex, tap. And as we're moving through this choreography, we're keeping the hips really still. So imagine your pelvis staying really, really, really still in space as the weight of the leg moves around. So using your obliques to prevent against that rotation, deep core muscles to stabilize through the whole spine and upper body. Good. Can we keep that choreography strong? Knee stacks over hips, switch. Knee stacks over hips, switch. Heel to floor, lift. Toe to floor, lift, and really exaggerate that ankle position here. Last 10 seconds. Shoulders stay heavy, hips stay high. From here, extend that leg, left leg up to the sky, point the toe, squeeze the quad, and we're gonna lower the hips to the floor and then lift the hips all the way up like you're trying to poke the ceiling with that left toe. Inhale, lower, exhale, root down into that right heel to rise. Can we lift the hips all the way back up, keeping a little tuck in the tailbone to keep this through the glutes and out of the lower back? That's really, really key here, keeping that tuck. As we lift, we draw the ribs down and in, engaging through the core. We're halfway there. Stay strong here. I know that right glute is screaming. This is so good for our body. Working through posterior chain helps a lot with posture because our posterior chain, glutes, back muscles, spine extensors, this is what keeps us upright. So this is not just to get nice rounded glutes, although that's a great benefit too, but think about the postural benefits. Awesome work. Let's bend that knee, bring the left heel down onto the mat, and then we'll bring the hips down to the floor. Take a breath here to prepare. On your next exhale, we lift the hips all the way back up. And again, core stays strong as we bring the right knee now over the hip. Keeping that knee bent, we tap the floor first in pointer flexion, lift, dorsiflexion, tap. Lift, point, tap. Lift, flex, tap. Again, really exaggerating those ankle positions. Heel to the floor, lift, point, toe to the floor, lift, flex, heel. Lift, point, toe, and all the while we're using our core to stabilize through the pelvis and the spine. When you lower that foot to the floor, can we draw the ribs down and in, engaging through the core? Keep those hips lifted, keeping left and right hip bone in line. We have 20 more seconds here. I know we're really feeling the glutes now because we're already feeling a bit fatigued through the back chain of the body. We've got this. 15 more seconds. Awesome work. And from here, we're going to bring that knee back over the hip. We extend the leg long, point the toe, squeeze the quad. And then last 60 seconds here, lower the hips to the floor. Exhale, lift nice and high. Can you keep that right quad engaged as we lift? Again, left and right hip bones stay square as we root down into that left heel to rise. We've got this. I know. I remember being so fatigued in this last one, just wanting to quit. Just stay focused on what your body has to do. Mind over matter. Your body can do it. 100% your body can do it. And let's not make stopping or quitting an option. Let's just do it. Let's work through it here. We're more than halfway. You can do this. I know you can do 20 more seconds of this for sure. Inhale, lower, exhale, root down into that left heel. I know. Last 10 seconds, you have this. Woo, we are done. Let's bring that right heel down. Bring the hips back down to the floor. Let's hug the knees into the chest. Just take a quick recovery, drawing circles with the knees, releasing through the low back. And reversing the direction of those circles. Okay, we have 3 more exercises today, 3 more minutes of work to end off our workout. Coming back to ab work, we're going to bring the hands behind the head. Elbows wide. We tuck the tailbone under as we bring the legs up to tabletop, come into our crunch, chin to chest, ribs to hips, and then we're going to extend one leg out at a time, coming into our single leg stretch. Again, I want you to think navel to spine here, wrapping the torso, tightening through the mid-body as we extend the leg out. And again, can we get that full leg extension? Squeezing the quad, pointing the toe to put a little bit more weight, a bit more work for the core to hold. We're about halfway there now. Again, keep the elbows wide, weight of the head into the hands. And again, think ribs to hips shortening through the front of the body. We're more than halfway there. We've got about 20 more seconds left. And again, just checking in with the core, making sure we're not just pressing out and crunching, but also drawing up and in. From here, we're gonna layer in our oblique twist. So same thing with the legs, single leg stretch, but now as we exhale, we're gonna twist opposite elbow to opposite knee and making sure that movement comes right from the waist. Again, keeping the elbows wide. As we pass from side to side, you should almost feel the shoulder blades go flush against the mat as you twist. Okay, so if you feel your shoulder blades kind of jetting into the mat and poking into the mat, we need to bring the elbows back in space more. So you just sort of rock, smooth glide from one side to the other. Again, making sure that rotation comes right from the mid-body, not from the elbows turning in. No need to touch the elbows to the knees. That's not a goal. The goal is to find rotation through the spine. Awesome work. Last 10 seconds here. And bringing the legs back to tabletop, knees over hips. We're gonna come into little crunches here, ribs to hips, shortening through the front of the body. Again, elbows stay wide, all of the weight of the head into the hands. We're not using the front of the neck to crunch. We're crunching ribs to hips, so think sliding forward. Again, sliding forward, ribs to hips. And as we're working through rectus abdominis, through those six-pack muscles, I also want you to think TVA. So we draw up and in through the pelvic floor, wrapping through the body, navel to spine, tighten through the core. And for the last 25 seconds, can we extend the legs long and keep crunching up, ribs to hips? Squeeze the quads, point the toes. We've got this. Slide forward. We're almost there. 15 more seconds of work, and then we are done for the day. We're almost there, last 10 seconds. Ooh, let's release shoulders, neck, and head. Hug the knees into the chest. Again, let's draw those circles just to release the lower back, decompress the lumbar spine, and other direction. And bringing your feet back onto the mat, knees bent, reach your arms back behind you, bringing your knees over to one side, find a nice deep twist and hold. And over to the other side again, we just hold for a second here, alternating at whatever pace works for you. Keeping the chest open here. And from here, we'll hug the knees in and we'll rock up to a seated position. We're gonna end off today with some nice stretches through the backs of the legs, inner thighs, and some spinal mobility. So we'll extend left leg out, right knee stays bent, and then grab onto that left toe or shin, reaching up and over, opening up through the chest, squeezing shoulder blades together. And then on your next exhale, rotate to the floor, bringing your right hand onto the foot or the shin. And we hold here for a breath or two. And we'll come over to the other side, extending the right leg out, left knee stays bent. Again, keep the chest open to the side, shoulder blades together, right hand holding onto shin or foot. And then on your exhale, rotating to the floor, bringing that left hand down onto the shin or foot. And we'll hold for a breath or two. Thank you so much for joining me today for this full body workout.